Today, we're going to meet with Lisa, and we're going to talk about the results of participating in chiropractic care over decades. Now, Lisa, like many patients, originally came to see me because of a symptom. She had low back pain. But when she got rid of the symptom and realized that she had a positive benefit in terms of her overall well-being, she's continued chiropractic care as a part of a lifetime lifestyle. Let's meet Lisa. And I'm here with Lisa, who has graciously agreed to share her chiropractic experience as a patient at Rowe Chiropractic. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, David.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that it's so helpful for either prospective new patients or for people that are finding a solution to something to hear what's the experience of somebody, on a journey trying to correct their health. So how long have you been a patient with us?
I have been coming to see you for just over 30 years, since my
impossible.
early 20s.
Are we even that
Very kind.
Yes, absolutely. And do you remember, like, when you first came in, what was going on? Like, why did you, as a 20-year-old or a 20-something-year-old, seek chiropractic care to try to help with something?
I was working a lot, living in New York City, working long hours, and just having continuous low back pain, and that wasn't getting better with anything I was able to do on my own, and somehow magically found my way to you and started to be under your care.
Fantastic. And how did you do initially? I mean, if you remember back 30 years, we had low back pain.
Immediately helpful to me, and I really appreciated and liked the scientific approach to all of that, where there are x-rays involved and I'm able to see those x-rays with you and see exactly where the problem is, and you're explaining it to me in a way that I can understand and coming up with a treatment plan that is, geared toward fixing, the areas that were problematic.
Why are we still working on this? Why don't they fix it? I mean, what's going on here, right? Enough is enough.
Well, I think what I've realized over the last 30 years is that this is more of a lifestyle choice, that you have to bake chiropractic care into how you live and what you're doing. And I've noticed that during times where I've been traveling a lot for work or otherwise unavailable to get in for regular adjustments, I feel it and I become way more symptomatic, and it's problematic for me. So I've learned over time that being able to make chiropractic care a priority in my life has such a benefit to me overall. I notice that I sleep better. I'm more relaxed. My digestion is better.
Your philosophy and this intention on lifestyle, but life could actually get in the way. Are you suggesting that the responsibilities of job, family especially, that could actually get in the way? So we're intentionally trying to do it as a lifestyle. And then the problems could start to creep back in. And you feel that in your body. Absolutely.
I do. And I think age and being now in my 50s and having hormonal changes that come along with that, and bone density changes and other things, an injury that I had a few years ago that required a couple of surgeries. I think all of that factors into, your overall health, but also, what's going on in your spine, which affects everything. And one of the things I remember most early on when coming to see you is you telling me, I think I asked you, well, when you adjust me, why doesn't it just stay that way? Why doesn't it stay? Why am I still coming 30 years later? And that explanation from you of well, muscle is stronger than bone, and your body's going to revert back to that normal positioning. And it has to be very intentional and a lot of diligence that gets applied to keeping after it. And then those adjustments start to stick a little better and last a little longer. And I think that makes a huge difference, just being able to have understood that from you.
That's cool. So what's been the experience with, as our technology has improved in terms of you participating more, doing maneuvers and that stuff? How's your home care going, basically?
I don't know that I would say I'm the poster child for doing what I'm supposed to on maneuvers and home care, but I do appreciate being able to have pieces that you've given me where I can lie on them, and it makes my neck feel better. If I diligently sit there or lie down and spend 20 minutes on it, it's great, and it helps, and it does make a difference. Again, it comes back to trying to find time to fit all of that in any given day. But I do think that makes a difference. If you can be diligent about that, it's good. And I try to be mindful of doing things, even silly maneuvers where I'm standing in an elevator for a few minutes and I'm cognizant of turning my heels and working on my pelvis. And that made a difference when I was really good about doing that for a while. Right. So, and a measurable difference.
Cool. Yeah. I think it's fantastic that we have the tools, and if the patient uses the tools, how helpful it actually is, along with the in-office care, the adjustment, the therapeutic exercises, the in-office traction, the home traction. They're all tools that we use as a synergistic program to give us the best chance of actually getting the corrections. We were just talking with Lisa about her experience with chiropractic care, which began as a solution to a problem, low back pain. But she's remained and used chiropractic care as a lifetime lifestyle, so she could not only stay pain-free in her low back, but just as importantly, be just healthier and feel better and have her body function better. Now, this is a picture we took 4/4/2016. The green line is normal. She's the red line. We're supposed to have these 3 slow sweeping curves. That's our built-in shock absorber to manage gravity. What's really her postural problem is her cage is shifted back. She's got a posture where her cage is back this way. So let's look at a close-up. This is the low back itself. The green line is normal. She's the red line. That's the problem. So if somebody's cage was back like this, their mid-back, we'll push forward with a therapeutic exercise. We create an adjustment for that. She does an in-office traction, a home traction. Now, this wouldn't take 5 years to correct, but we don't have an x-ray in between here, so we're just going to say this is where she started. 5 years later, we do an updated x-ray. That green line is normal. Boy, she's in much better position, and the top to the bottom is perfect. Let's look at the numbers. Now, normally, translation means a shift. She should be, for the curve this way in her low back, the top should sit right over the bottom. It should be a 0-degree deviation. But on the first x-ray, she was a half an inch, 10 millimeters off. We do all the care with her. We take a comparative x-ray, and it's spot on. See, let's look at the picture one more time. She started off here. Green is normal. She is red. We correct it. She comes into a better position. And then by creating a lifetime wellness schedule with us, she can hold that in position for the rest of her life and gain the benefits from it. The real benefits are from long term. We often just fix problems as a solution to a specific problem. Let's do the 1A first. Now, the 1A is because your pelvis is rotated like this, and your cage, your mid-back, is rotated like that. So we're going to correct the 2 of those. So turn the toes to the left. This is what you're talking about doing it in the elevator. Yeah. Toes left, rotate to so disengage and rotate your pelvis that way. Great. And then turn your cage this way. Good. Super. Now you've got into the correction there. Keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. Good. We're going to use this instrument just to kind of give a stimulation into the nerve system that this is where we want this to end up. So turn that pelvis, turn that pelvis. Fantastic. Very good. This is your maneuver number 2. So you're back on your heels, your cage is upright, and you're just going to shift your cage to the left. And as you shift the cage over, that creates a good balancing act of your cage to your pelvis. Good, come back. And the reason why we would correct something like that is because your cage is to the right of your pelvis. So we're going to exaggerate it to the left and work that to correct. And we work that. Good. Now stand with your back against the wall, and we're going to do kind of the mothership of your maneuvers, this maneuver 4, which we've worked on this because this helps so many different things. So we go feet forward, pelvis back, cage forward, keep the belly real strong, and then push the head forward, push, push, push. Yeah, keep your cage steady. Good. And then just pull back. Bravo. Really good. All right, let's do that one again. When you push the cage forward, just like don't let your cage move then. So press forward, stop. Now push the head forward, push, 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 curve back, and then slide back in what we call a flip maneuver. Bravo. Great job. Great. So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to check the motion, and it's finding any areas that with a scan that are like that, because she shakes her head, yes, that are showing a loss of motion. Okay, and we're just going to bring it into that. Okay, and that brings us right back to that same spot. Okay, all right, I just want to check that a little bit more. Okay, so Lisa, let's start in the chair. So we're just going to let the weight of the head drop this way. And we're just going to create a little bit of a nudge like that. Bravo. Good job. We're going to adjust your fourth thoracic. And that one we've been having some trouble with. So we'll get that set. 2, 3, fourth thoracic. Right there. That's good. Just let everything nice and relax. Good. Nice full deep breath in. And exhale. I'm going to lift up on that one segment. Beautiful. Very good. Great. So we're going to adjust the base of your sacrum right there. And we're just going to let that all drop in. And we're going to set this one segment like that. Good job. Beautiful. Good. Perfect. Do that. And we've already got some movement out of this, but let's see if we can set this with a little bit more depth. And we're just going to work that together. Great relaxation. Thank you. So we've got Lisa set up in her corrective traction. Now, the real correction that Lisa's got from the side view, a loss of the normal cervical curve. So this is where we're focusing on the correction of that. This strap here is pulling forward, and the weight of this pulls down. We're just creating a little bit of what we call a Pope setup, where we're just creating a little bit of distraction, a little lifting here to decompress, but this is really the main action. Traction has to be over 10 minutes. The ligaments will have a tendency to resist correction for the first 10 minutes, and then after that, they start to what we term remodel. They start to reshape back to their original genetic shape. So this setup is corrective. We do the in-office work for 15 minutes, and we typically support this with a home traction unit. We're using with Lisa a Denerol where she's lying on it that helps pull that curve back in. We do that at 20 minutes, but the combination of all this will give us almost like an orthodontic approach to rebuilding the curve, taking the stress off, and her adjustments will last way longer, once again, as a lifestyle correction. It's awesome. Good job. Reasonably comfortable? So, yeah, not necessarily a walk in the park, but you're doing great. Yeah. Fantastic.
Not painful.
Not painful. Good job. Understanding leads to confidence, leads to participation, leads to better results.
I couldn't agree more on that. And as someone who is very visual and a visual learner, for me to be able to have a doctor who will spend the time with me to go over my x-rays or imaging in detail and explain how certain subluxations are having an effect or why I'm feeling pain in a certain way that might be in a different body part, not necessarily adjacent to the particular vertebrae. That is really helpful to me. And then it clicks better in my brain when you're saying this maneuver is tied to that, and we're adjusting here because it's going to affect this other place. It all clicks in a way that is useful for me to sort of hang on to every day when I'm focused on this.
A little bit more. How do you view it lifestyle-wise?
I have come to think of chiropractic care over the years along the same lines of, my general routine every day, like taking vitamins and brushing my teeth. Every once in a while I'll forget my vitamins because I've gone on a business trip and I don't have them, and I notice it if I haven't taken them. And it's the same if I go too long without coming to see you and get adjusted. I notice it and I feel it. And so in my head, I bake chiropractic care into my normal routine of just general taking care of myself and my body.
Right. So do we brush our teeth on our birthday?
Yes.
And on holidays?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can kind of like these lifestyle things have consistency and longevity.
Yes.
And if, like you said, if you go on a trip and you don't bring your vitamins, but we're without stress, we just can step right back in and today make a good decision today and say, I'm off and running again.
Exactly.
And I think that's the realistic, without hearts, flowers, and, and butterflies all around our lifestyle choices. There's a lot of times it's a slip and a check, but we can get right back into line and then get it going again. And that's one of the amazing things.
And it feels amazing to come back in and get adjusted after having maybe a couple of weeks where I haven't been able to get here. It makes all the difference in the world to me in terms of how I feel.
So you've used chiropractic care from your mid-20s. So now we've got 31 years of this. What do you think in terms of the future? Like, what would chiropractic care mean for you as you age, as you go through the stages of life?
Well,
what's the plan?
I'm deathly afraid of you retiring. my worst nightmare. But I'm very aware of getting a little bit older, and I think as everyone around this age and beyond, certain aches and pains and things that creep in, and I think that's only solidified even more for me, that having a solid chiropractic plan and making sure that my spine is in the best possible state that I can make it, or that we can make it together, gives me the best chance of having a healthy life as I'm aging and things, start to fall apart a little more.
Well, we're going to do our best to keep that from happening. 43 years in practice at Christmas time. For me, I am a long way from retiring. I mean, absolutely. So long as I keep myself under chiropractic care as David Rowe, the chiropractic patient, I think that we'll have longevity in our career. Sharing this, I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, peace.